Hello, Erica of Herbal Arts. Okay, just had some disconnect issues. Erica of Herbal Arts, we're here for Sunday demo, but on Monday, which I completely forgot about until about 45 minutes ago. And I have to move something behind me, and then we're going to get started. So, I'm out on the landing, so the space is a little tight. By the way, there are lots of bats left. I was pretty sure I was going to knock that mannequin over, so. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust things a little bit. I got a fan going here. I may see if I can come any closer here without knocking anything over. Already knocked stuff over once. It's kind of that kind of day. Probably should not operate the van later today, but I forgot to go water my friend's plants yesterday, so I got to go do that. Okay. For those of you who don't know what this contraption is, this is a tabletop Swift. It's all wood. It all pivots on comes apart, folds up in a nice slim, knock it over, nice slim box, so I keep it stored. However, the top opened up as I was coming out and I dropped everything. And that's just kind of how my days go. So, this one is conveniently on this arm right here. You won't be able to see this on the camera. But there are little numbers inched or engraved in here so that if I put all of my posts on this inner one, it'll be a circumference of 30 inches. This is 38. I don't use the other one, so I don't remember what they are because it's hard to read. This one here, though, is 2 yards. 2 yards, otherwise known as 6 feet, right? And so when I want to do what I consider a full-size skein, I put it here. For my little ones, sort of my minis, I put them at 38. Which of course is 1 yard and 2 inches. So it lets me count the yards, and then I just add, for every rotation, I add 2 inches to the little length. Now, also because I can never, you'd be like, well, if you're counting rotations, you just wait for the arm with the numbers to go by. But they're so hard to see that what I've done is actually I've put both here and here, I have nail polish. So I can see when those go by where the ends of the other arms don't have the little dot. So that helps me count. Okay. Now, what I do is when I finish spinning, like this, I finished plying this last night. Okay. This is a bat from Compassman Creations. It's got mint Longton in it. It's got other stuff that I can't remember. I've got it's over there. I can't get to it. But yeah, so I divide it in half and only had just a tiny little back bit done. So when I'm doing my normal size, like 4 ounces or less, I'm always doing it on my regular flyer. This is the flyer that came with the Louette S17. I, however, do not like to keep it on this flyer for when I skein up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off this. Okay, and I have my art yarn flyer here, which you'll notice there's just that one guide right there. Okay, so there's less to get caught on. Because what would happen often if I use the regular flyer is the yarn might hook on those hooks and then it gets pulled and distressed and all that. So it's just easier to put it on like that. Okay, and then I'm going to set it up on here, make sure I can see it, okay? And because it's a bobbin-driven flyer, I don't have to worry about those extra pieces that you often get with flyer-driven. So I just set it down like that. I make sure that, like, the guides, anything you catch on the far side, away from the Swift. And this comes with this brake, and that just prevents it from spinning around on me. And the drive band is at rest. It is not on any of the whirls. And so what I do is find my end, and then I'm going to move this so this doesn't get in the way. And I always end my pieces by making a little slip knot. And that slip knot very conveniently goes over that post right there. Okay? And then it's just a matter of getting an angle that I like. Okay? And sometimes I put my foot on here just in case, my heel. I'll probably get tired of that for a while. Okay, I'm going to pull this a little bit more towards me. This will wander a little bit across the table. It's okay. And so because I actually did try an automated skein winder once, it was just so unwieldy and bulky, and you know I don't have a lot of room. So I'm very old school here. I just count. This is obviously pre-wash, which is also why my links on my yarns say approximately, right? So we just go. I've hit my nail polish here. That's one rotation. So I just count, and I try and do them in groups of 10 so that I don't, even if the phone rings, if I haven't reached to the end of that group of 10, I keep counting. Otherwise, I will never remember where I was. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that gets me to 10, and then I do a little loop there so it doesn't sort of unwind. So if you're interested in tabletop slips, that's a good summary. I'm just going to keep doing this, so this is going to be very boring because you're just going to watch me counting. But yeah. So oh, look at that. It's still got a little bit of energy in there. It's not quite as relaxed as I would like it to be. So undo that. So we're at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Now sometimes what will happen is this still kept spinning, so it's a little tangled. Sometimes also I might have yarn that got perhaps one layer sort of fell on top of another, and so it's a little tight. And of course at the end I have to do the math because yes, I'm at 20, but that's 40 times 2, right? Because this is 2 yards around. Take that off. And also, you have to be careful you don't put something underneath or skip over here. And sometimes that's hard to see because it'll line up right with the arms here. So, okay, so 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30. Now, normally I don't take quite as many stops, but it also lets my brain pause because sometimes if I get into the 20s and 30s, my dyslexic brain gets a little confused. So that's also why I stop on the 10s. So we're at 30 now, and one of the reasons I'm doing this instead of making it bad is I'm just trying to clear up some bobbins. I'm going to have a lot more hand spun for when I go to Fiber Expo next month, which starts tomorrow. Okay, so that's 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, and 40. By the way, I have named this one Pastoral because it's got greens, it's got like little flecks of like purples and browns and very sort of pasture-like. So, okay, so that's 40. 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. So check the arms, make sure nothing's underneath there. I'm also looking back to see how much is left. There's not a huge amount left. I think this was a 3.5 ounce batch. I'm not sure where I put the tag. There is a tag somewhere with the weight on it. But, so yeah, so there's 50. 51. 52. 53. 54. 55. 56. 57. 58. 59. 60. 61. 62. 63. 64. 65. 66. 67. 68. 69. Will we make 70 or not? Just going to make 70. We just made 70. Here's the end. And I've got to apply back here, which I can undo. Being a little problematic on me. So we're at 70. So remember that. Okay. I have to tear it just a little bit. Being problematic. Okay, so I'll fix that in there. So that's 70. Okay. So the next order of business, which I'm not going to do on camera, is to tie it off. Traditionally, people tie in 3 places. Given that this is a 4-sided thing, I like to tie in 4 places. Though I will probably, given the length, I will probably actually tie the 2 ends together in a little bow. What I tend to do, though, is because this is where the dot is, right? So this is where I started. So what I often do is, instead of like being way down here, I'll put the tie a little closer here, just to trap that end, right? So it's not flailing all over the place, okay? And I'll do 1 on each side. I like 4. Does anyone know why we try? Because generally what you do is you divide in thirds. You'll tie a third, and a third. Does anyone know why we do that? Why not 4? Why not 2? Certainly on small skeins I do too, but I just don't know. So yeah, so then I'll say, after I've done the tie-offs, which obviously is to prevent tangling, I will then pull this off and put it, twist it and then put it in the skein bag. I'm sorry, it's 85 degrees outside. It is the end of September. It is much too warm. Though I must say I'm very glad I do not no longer live in hurricane areas. I'm expecting, I don't know if you've seen the Facebook post, SAF Southeastern Animal Fiber Fair. They said they'll be making an announcement. They're right around Asheville. I suspect they're canceling because it's like the 19th and 20th of October. And I suspect there's very little infrastructure left. So I suspect that they are going to cancel that, which will be, obviously a big blow to all the vendors who depend on that. I'm still trying to figure out, I got waitlisted for a show this fall that I was like, darn it, I was kind of depending on that. But I will say also that, election's coming up and people tend to spend less right close to an election. So I'm feeling it a little bit. But yeah. Okay, so that is my demo for today. Hope you learned something. If you have any questions about Amish Swifts, certainly pop them in the comments. I know a lot of you are at work right now, so watch this when you get home, okay? So take care, and I will see you around on Facebook.